I was supposed to be at my brother's place that night. That was the plan. Grab a couple of beers, watch the game, complain about life, the usual. But at the last minute, something in my gut told me to stay home. I didn't know why. I wasn't suspicious yet, just restless. So instead of heading over to Mark's, I drove around the block a few times, then parked 2 streets away from my own house. I sat there in the dark, my hands on the wheel, staring at nothing. That's when I saw the car. A sleek black BMW, the kind of car that doesn't belong in our neighborhood. Too expensive, too polished. It was parked right in front of my house. Engine off, but someone was inside. Waiting. I watched. My stomach was a knot, but my brain was slow to catch up. Because why would it? This wasn't a movie. This was my life. And in my life, my wife was at home, probably putting the kids to bed, probably scrolling through her phone, waiting for me to text that I'd made it to my brother's. Except she wasn't. Because as I sat there, the front door of my house opened and she walked out. My wife. Hair down, makeup perfect, wearing that red dress I hadn't seen in years. The one she used to wear when we still had fire between us. She wasn't rushing. She wasn't looking around nervously like someone doing something wrong. She was calm. Effortless. Like this was routine. The driver's side door of the BMW opened. A man stepped out. Tall, confident, too comfortable in front of my house. And then without hesitation, without a single second of hesitation, my wife walked straight to him, smiling, and kissed him. Not a quick kiss. Not an uncertain kiss. A kiss that spoke of history. Of familiarity. Of everything I thought only existed between us. I felt like the air had been sucked out of my lungs. The world didn't slow down like people always say it does. No, it sped up. My heartbeat was so loud it drowned out my thoughts. My hands clenched the wheel so hard my knuckles ached, but I couldn't move. Couldn't even breathe. She pulled away from him and laughed. I knew that laugh. I had spent a decade of my life worshipping that laugh. And now she was giving it to him. She touched his arm, leaned into him like she belonged there. And then, just like that, they got into his car, and he drove off with her. Gone. I didn't follow them. Couldn't. My legs felt like stone. My head was swimming. The house in front of me was suddenly foreign. Like I had never lived there at all. Everything I knew, everything I trusted. It shattered in an instant. My phone buzzed. I jumped like I'd been shot. My hands fumbled for it. And when I saw the name on the screen, I almost laughed. Rachel. I stared at it. Let it ring. When it stopped, a message popped up. Hey babe, just wanted to say goodnight. Love you. I exhaled. A slow, bitter breath. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I could respond. I could say something. But what the hell was there to say? Instead, I started the car and drove. I didn't go home. I couldn't. I drove aimlessly for a while, headlights illuminating empty streets, my brain running 1,000 miles per hour but getting nowhere. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them. Her. In that dress. With him. The way she smiled. The way she touched him like it was second nature. The way she kissed him like she meant it. At some point, I pulled into a 24-hour gas station. I had no idea how I got there. I just sat in my car, staring at the blinking neon sign, trying to get my hands to stop shaking. My mouth was dry. My skin felt too tight. My whole body was screaming for me to do something, but what? I could confront her. Call her out. Demand an explanation. But what good would that do? I already knew the truth. Still, I had to see it for myself. My fingers were cold as I pulled up her location on my phone. She didn't know I had it. A while back, we had set up tracking for safety reasons, just in case, she had said. I never checked it. Never had a reason to. But now I stared at that blinking dot on the screen, my stomach twisting as it settled at a fancy hotel across town. A hotel. Not a bar. Not a restaurant. Not some innocent excuse she could fumble her way through later. Hotel. I gripped my phone so hard I thought it might crack. I should have gone home. I should have let this play out the way people in rational, healthy marriages do. I should have waited for her to come back and lie to my face. Instead, I started the car and drove straight to her. The hotel was the kind of place with gold-trimmed doors and valets in stupid little hats. I pulled into the lot and sat there, watching as fancy cars pulled up and well-dressed people stepped out, laughing, living their normal lives, blissfully unaware. My hands were steady now. My breathing was slow. The shock had melted away, leaving something darker in its place. I got out. The lobby was warm, filled with the quiet hum of conversation, the clinking of glasses. I walked past the front desk without hesitation, straight to the elevators. Nobody stopped me. I pressed the button. The doors slid open. I stepped inside, heart pounding but face calm. The kind of calm that comes when there's nothing left to lose. The elevator dinged softly as it climbed. 1 floor, 2, 5, 8. My hand hovered over my phone, her location still open, that blinking dot sitting still. When I reached the 10th floor, I stepped out. The hallway stretched in both directions, lined with thick carpet, dim lighting, expensive silence. Room 1023. I walked toward it, each step measured. The closer I got, the harder my pulse hammered in my throat. My ears rang. I stopped in front of the door. For a second, I just stood there, staring at the brass numbers, feeling the weight of what I was about to do. Then, without giving myself time to think, I knocked. A pause. A shuffle. The door opened, and there she was, Rachel. Her eyes went wide. Her mouth opened slightly, lips still swollen. Her hair was messy, curled over one shoulder. And behind her, just over her shoulder, him, the man from the car, standing there, shirtless, smirking. Rachel sucked in a breath, stepping forward like she could somehow block my view. What are you doing here? I didn't answer. I just stared at her, my hands loose at my sides, my whole body vibrating with something I couldn't name. She licked her lips. Babe, I can explain. I let out a short, humorless laugh. I had never heard anything so pathetic in my life. Rachel's voice was barely above a whisper, like she was trying to contain the situation before it spiraled. Babe, please just let me explain. Behind her, her guy, leaned casually against the doorframe, arms crossed over his bare chest, not a single ounce of shame on his face. He wasn't some nervous, caught-off-guard idiot scrambling to hide. No, he was comfortable, like I was the one intruding. I looked at her. I looked at him, and something inside me snapped. I stepped forward. Rachel flinched, like I was about to hit her. I wasn't even raising my voice. But I wasn't moving out of that doorway either. Who is he? My voice was calm, dead calm. Rachel swallowed. I say his name. She hesitated. I watched her brain scramble for a way out, for the right combination of words that would make this my fault, that would turn this into some kind of misunderstanding. But there wasn't one. Not this time. She glanced back at him. Quick, stupid mistake. Because when she did, his mouth curled into a smug little smile, like this was funny to him. And that was it. That was the moment I knew she wasn't just cheating. She was gone. This wasn't some mistake, some drunken lapse in judgment. No, this was comfort, routine, a life she had built outside of ours. And she wasn't sorry. Not really. She was sorry I caught her. Rachel turned back to me, reaching out like she was going to grab my hand. Babe, I need you to listen. I stepped back. Her fingers brushed nothing but air. She blinked. Her face twisted into something desperate, something ugly. It's not what it looks like. I laughed. Actually laughed. Because what kind of idiot did she take me for? Not what it looks like. Seriously? You walk out of my house, get into his car, come to a hotel, and you expect me to believe what? That you're here for a goddamn book club? Rachel's eyes darkened. The panic in her face flickered just for a second into something else. Something cold. And that's when I realized what was happening. She wasn't scrambling because she regretted this. She was scrambling because she knew she was about to lose control of the narrative. I didn't want you to find out like this, she muttered. Like that made it better. Oh? I leaned against the wall, arms crossed. How exactly did you want me to find out, Rachel? Huh? A surprise party? A PowerPoint? Or were you just planning to keep lying to my face forever? She flinched, but I wasn't done. Not even close. You were in my house, I said, voice low, venomous. You kissed me goodbye. You told me you loved me. And then, what? 10 minutes later, you're here? With him? I gestured toward the guy who still hadn't said a single word. You do this every time, Rachel? Is that why you've been so busy? Is that why you suddenly give a damn about what perfume you wear? Rachel opened her mouth, then closed it. Because there was nothing to say. There was no excuse. No lie big enough to cover this up. The silence stretched. My chest was heaving. The world was tilting. Then suddenly Rachel's face hardened. The panic drained out of her, replaced with something uglier. You shouldn't have come here, she said. I froze. Not I'm sorry. Not I made a mistake. You shouldn't have come here. And just like that, I realized exactly who I was dealing with. I shouldn't have come here. The words left my mouth slow, deliberate, like I was testing how they tasted. Rachel straightened her shoulders, tilting her chin up like she had suddenly grown a spine. Like she had the right to be defensive. Yeah, she said. You shouldn't have. This, she gestured vaguely at the hotel room at him, like this was some minor inconvenience rather than her entire life burning to the ground. Was never supposed to involve you. I laughed. Actually laughed. A sharp, bitter sound that bounced off the pristine hotel walls. Oh, I'm so sorry, Rachel. Was my marriage supposed to stay out of your little affair? My bad. Next time you lie to my face and sneak off to a hotel, I'll be sure to respect your privacy. Her eyes narrowed. And there it was. The shift. Rachel was done pretending. The panic was gone. The guilt? If it had ever existed, it had evaporated. Now she just looked, annoyed. You always do this, she muttered, shaking her head. Do what? I took a step closer, forcing her to look at me. Catch you cheating? Her jaw clenched. You make everything a big deal. You overreact. You act like the world is ending just because something doesn't go your way. I stared at her, actually stunned. This woman. I caught her cheating on me in real time, and now I was the problem? I let out a slow breath, rubbing a hand down my face. Rachel, do you even hear yourself? She scoffed. Look, I didn't plan for this to happen, all right? I dropped my hand. Oh, you tripped and fell onto another man? She rolled her eyes. Rolled her eyes. Behind her, the guy finally spoke. Hey man, maybe you should calm down. I snapped my gaze to him so fast he actually shut his mouth. Don't. My voice was lethal. Don't hey man me. You don't get to be part of this conversation. Rachel exhaled sharply like I was being unreasonable. This isn't just about you, okay? It's complicated. I laughed again. Oh, is it? Enlighten me, Rachel. How exactly is this complicated? Because from where I'm standing, it looks pretty damn simple. Rachel folded her arms. I didn't cheat because I don't love you. I barked out a laugh. Oh, fantastic. That's so comforting, Rachel. Thank you. Hey, everybody. She still loves me. Never mind that she just left our house to go crawl into bed with another man. It's fine. It's fine. Because she loves me. Stop it, she snapped. Or what? I stepped closer, voice low. You gonna lie some more? Tell me this is all in my head? She inhaled sharply, nostrils flaring. I wasn't happy. I went still. She must have taken my silence as an opening because she kept going, voice rising. I have been miserable for years. Okay? And you never even noticed. I let the words sit there. Let them hang between us like they meant something. Then I nodded slowly. All right. You weren't happy. So instead of talking to me, your husband, the father of your children, you decided to sneak around, lie, and sleep with another man? Rachel let out a breath. I didn't want to hurt you. I felt something in my chest crack open. You didn't want to hurt me? My voice was quiet now. Dangerously quiet. Rachel held my gaze, something unreadable flashing through her eyes. I care about you. And the kids. But tonight. She swallowed, voice trembling just enough to sound sincere. Tonight I'm staying here. And I promise I'll come back tomorrow. You just need to stay calm and trust that I'll come back. I actually took a step back. Stunned. That was it. That was her plan. She was looking me dead in the eyes, telling me she was going to spend the night in another man's bed and expected me to just accept it. Trust she'd come back. Like I was some placeholder. Some backup option. And in that moment I realized something crystal clear. Rachel wasn't just cheating. She thought she could do whatever she wanted, whenever she wanted, with whoever she wanted, and I would always be there waiting. She thought I was weak. She thought I would accept this. She was so goddamn wrong. I took a slow step back, letting her words settle into the air between us. The audacity, the sheer arrogance. She had already decided how this would go. Not an apology. Not regret. Not even the decency to pretend this was some momentary lapse in judgment. No. Rachel was telling me to wait for her. Like I was some obedient little dog she could shove into a corner while she had her fun. I let the silence stretch. Let her think for just a second that I was considering it. That I was processing. And then I smiled. Not the kind of smile she was expecting. Not sad. Not betrayed. Amused. Rachel's face twitched. Confusion flickering in her eyes. What? I tilted my head. I just realized something. What? She repeated, voice a little tighter now. I chuckled. Shook my head. I almost fell for it. God, you're good. You really are. I see it now. The way you spin things. The way you make yourself the victim no matter what. It's actually impressive. Rachel's eyes narrowed. You're not making sense. No? I exhaled, running a hand through my hair. Let me break it down for you. You weren't happy. So instead of telling me, instead of doing anything about it like a grown woman, you sneak around behind my back. You build a whole second life. You lie. You cheat. And the best part? Now that you're caught, you still think you're in control. You actually believe I'm gonna go home, sit quietly like a good boy, and wait for you to come back. Rachel's arms folded, her lips pressing into a thin line. I never said you didn't have to. I cut her off. I see it. I see you. You never thought I'd find out, did you? And even if I did, you thought I'd just take it. You thought I'd beg, cry, try to fix things. I took another step back, shook my head, laughed under my breath. You don't get it, do you? Rachel frowned. Get what? I met her eyes. I'm done. Her face went blank. What? I'm done. I spread my arms. You want to be with him? Be with him. Stay here. Have your little night. Have all your nights. But don't bother coming back. Ever. Rachel's mouth opened, but no words came out. I turned to leave. Wait. She reached for me, but I pulled my arm away like her touch physically disgusted me. No, Rachel. You made your choice. And for the first time in years, I'm making mine. I turned the corner, not looking back. But just as I reached the elevator, I heard it. Her voice, sharp, defensive, cracking under pressure. You're not actually leaving. I stopped, exhaled slowly, and then, without turning around, I said the last thing I would ever say to her. Watch me. The elevator doors slid open. I stepped inside, and I never looked back. The elevator doors slid shut, and for the first time in what felt like hours, I was alone. Just me, my thoughts, and the deafening silence. No more Rachel spinning her lies. No more fake explanations. No more disgusting justifications. Just cold, brutal clarity. My fingers twitched at my sides. I stared at my own reflection in the shiny panel of the elevator. At the man who had just watched his entire marriage detonate in real time. I should have felt something. Grief, rage, despair. But instead, I felt light, like I had just set down something impossibly heavy that I hadn't even realized I'd been carrying. The elevator dinged softly, doors sliding open to the lobby. I walked out like a man who knew exactly where he was going, even though I didn't. Not yet. I stepped outside, the crisp night air slamming into me. My car was parked across the lot, right where I had left it, but I didn't go to it right away. I needed a minute. I stood on the sidewalk, hands on my hips, head tilted up at the sky, breathing, just breathing. And then my phone buzzed. I pulled it out, already knowing who it was before I even looked. Rachel. 12 missed calls. A fresh message popped up as I stared at the screen. Come back inside. Let's talk. I actually laughed. She still thought she could fix this. I swiped left and blocked her number. Then I got in my car, started the engine, and drove. I wasn't ready to go home. Not yet. I couldn't walk into that house, the same house Rachel had left to go be with him, and pretend it was still mine. Pretend it wasn't poison now. So I did what I always did when I didn't know where else to go. I went to Mark's. My brother opened the door in sweatpants and a hoodie, mid-bite into a slice of pizza, eyes flicking to the time on his phone. Dude, it's almost midnight. Where the hell were you? I stepped inside without a word. Mark took one look at my face and knew. Shit. He tossed the pizza onto the counter. What happened? I let out a slow breath. Rachel. She's cheating on me. Mark didn't blink. Didn't gasp. Didn't ask me if I was sure. No. My brother? He just let out a slow sigh, grabbed his beer off the counter, and muttered. Yeah, I figured. I froze. What? Mark winced. Look, man, I didn't have proof, and I wasn't gonna accuse her without something solid. But she's been acting weird for months. I had a feeling. I stared at him. And you didn't say anything? Would you have believed me? I opened my mouth, then closed it. Because the truth? I wouldn't have. I had spent months ignoring every red flag, every warning sign. I had chosen to believe Rachel because the alternative was too painful. Mark clapped a hand on my shoulder. Come on. Sit down. Tell me everything. And for the next hour I did. I told him about the distance, the excuses, the BMW parked outside my house, the hotel, the way Rachel had looked me in the eyes and told me to stay calm and trust she'd come back. By the time I finished, Mark was pacing, hands on his head. Dude, she's insane. I let out a dry laugh. Yeah. Mark turned to face me. So what now? I exhaled. Now I get my damn life back. Mark didn't push me for details. He just nodded, like he understood exactly what I meant, and grabbed 2 more beers from the fridge. He handed me one, then sat across from me, watching. So what's the plan? He asked after a beat. I twisted the cap off the bottle and stared at it. The old me, the yesterday me, would have hesitated, would have stalled, hoping for some kind of miracle that would make this all go away. But I wasn't that guy anymore. First thing tomorrow, I'm calling a lawyer. Mark grinned. Good. What else? I took a slow sip of my beer. I'm making sure she has nowhere to slither back to. And just like that, the real plan started forming in my head. By the time I left Mark's place, the sky was starting to lighten, a dull gray creeping in over the horizon. My mind was clearer than it had been in months. I knew exactly what I needed to do. Rachel expected me to sit at home, heartbroken, waiting for her to come crawling back. She expected patience, sadness, desperation, what she was not expecting. Me, taking everything from her before she even had a chance to step back through that door. I pulled into the driveway just as my neighbor, Mrs. Callahan, was stepping outside to get her newspaper. She paused, giving me a curious glance. Morning, dear. You're out early. I forced a small smile. Yeah. Just had a long night. She hummed, peering at me like she could see the exhaustion in my bones. But I didn't stop to chat. I had work to do. Inside, the house was too quiet, too still. Rachel's perfume still lingered faintly in the air, but the woman herself? Gone. She'd be waking up soon, stretching lazily in another man's bed, convinced she had time, convinced she still had options. She didn't. I grabbed a duffel bag from the closet and started throwing things in. Not mine. Hers. Every piece of clothing she owned. Every little personal item she had left scattered around my home. I shoved it all into the bag with the kind of methodical calm that should have scared me. Then I went for her precious vanity. The expensive perfume bottles. The overpriced skincare. The jewelry I had bought for her, which for all I knew she had worn for him. Gone. By the time I was finished, the house already felt cleaner. Next, I went to the bank. Rachel didn't know it, but I had opened a separate account last year. A personal one. I had never touched it, never even considered moving our joint funds out of reach. Because why would I? I had trusted her. But now? Now I drained every last cent from our shared account and transferred it over. By the time she checked her banking app, she'd have just enough for a coffee and nothing else. The final step came when I drove to her work. Rachel had always been obsessed with keeping up appearances, with looking like the perfect wife, the perfect coworker, the perfect everything. So when I walked into her office carrying that overstuffed duffel bag like it was garbage, people noticed. Especially when I dropped it right by her desk. Her friend, Lisa, I think, stared at me wide-eyed. Can I help you?" I smiled. "Nope. Just dropping off some things Rachel won't be needing at my house anymore." And then, before she could react, before she could ask a single damn question, I turned and walked right back out. Let her explain it. Let her deal with the aftermath. Let her feel, for the first time, what it was like to have her life turned upside down without warning. Because as far as I was concerned, Rachel didn't have a home to come to. Rachel called me 27 times before noon. I didn't answer. I was sitting at a cafe, drinking the best damn coffee of my life, scrolling through my phone like it was a normal day. Because, for the first time in years, I felt free. Her messages started off predictable. 9:12 a.m. Hey, I just woke up. Can we talk? 9:30 a.m. I get that you're upset, but we need to be adults about this. 9:45 a.m. Okay, this is childish. Call me. Then came the real panic. 10:05 a.m. Where's all our money? 10:07 a.m. What did you do? 10:20 a.m. You need to put it back. Now. By 10:30, she was sending voice messages. I didn't bother listening. I just let them pile up one after another as I took another sip of my coffee, enjoying the fact that for once Rachel was the one spiraling. And then at exactly 11:15 a.m. my phone rang again. But this time it wasn't Rachel. It was Lisa, Rachel's coworker, the one who had watched me drop off her things like trash at her desk. I let it ring twice, then answered. "Lisa." What a surprise. There was a pause, then a sharp sigh. "Okay, look. I don't know what happened between you two, but Rachel is a mess. She's freaking out. She's crying in the break room. She said you took all the money and what, Lisa?" I leaned back in my chair, stretching my legs out. "She tell you why? Or did she just play the victim like she always does?" Lisa hesitated. "She said you overreacted to something. That you got paranoid and threw her out without listening to her side." I laughed. Actually laughed out loud in the middle of the cafe. Overreacted? Oh, that's good. That's really good. I shook my head. "Lisa, let me clear things up for you. Rachel didn't tell you the full story because if she did, you'd be looking at her a lot differently right now." Lisa sighed again. "I don't know, man. She's not handling this well." "She's not handling it well?" I repeated, pretending to be shocked. "Wow, that's so strange. I mean, it's not like she just got blindsided by her own husband sneaking off to a hotel with another woman. It's not like she just had her whole life ripped apart without warning." "Oh wait, that's right. That was me." Lisa was silent. I let the silence stretch. Let her think. Then I sighed. "Look, Lisa, if you want to help Rachel, be my guest. But don't call me expecting me to fix it. Because I'm not her backup plan. Not anymore." And with that, I hung up. By the time I got home, I had another voicemail. This time, from Rachel's mom. I played it on speaker as I tossed my keys on the counter. "Daniel, it's Linda. Rachel called me and she's very upset. I don't know what's going on between you two, but this is not how you handle a marriage. You need to sit down and have a real conversation. You can't just throw her out like this. She's your wife." "Wrong. She was my wife." "Yeah? She was just some woman who thought she could have everything and lose nothing." I deleted the voicemail. A few minutes later, my phone buzzed again. Another message from Rachel. "I'm coming over. We need to talk." I smirked. She still didn't get it. Rachel thought she had control. That she could just walk back into my life whenever she wanted. She was about to learn just how wrong she was. I didn't respond to Rachel's message. I didn't need to. She was coming over whether I liked it or not. Good. I wanted her to see. I spent the next hour erasing her. The family photos? Gone. Every framed picture of us, every smiling vacation photo, every stupid anniversary portrait she insisted we take, all of them into a box. The little trinkets she left around the house? The stupid candle she always lit at night? The throw blanket she curled up with on the couch? Gone. By the time I finished, the house felt different. Mine. Rachel was a ghost now. A fading shadow of someone who used to belong here. Then, just as I was tossing the last photo into the box, I heard it, the front door opening. I didn't move. I just stood there, back turned, waiting. Footsteps. Slow. Hesitant. Then her voice. Daniel. I closed my eyes for half a second, breathing in the moment. Then I turned around. There she was. Standing in the doorway looking at me like she actually had the right to be upset. Her makeup was smudged. Her hair was messier than she probably meant it to be. She had tried to clean herself up, but there was no hiding the damage. She looked stressed. Exhausted. Good. I crossed my arms. You shouldn't be here. She blinked. We need to talk. I let out a sharp laugh. We needed to talk months ago, Rachel. You don't get to decide that now. She flinched. No. I took a step forward, forcing her to meet my eyes. You don't speak. Not yet. First, I want to hear it straight from you. She swallowed. Hear what? The truth. I tilted my head. How long? Rachel? Her throat bobbed. I don't lie to me. My voice was calm. Deadly calm. How long? She hesitated. I could see the battle happening in her head, weighing the lie against the truth, deciding which one could still save her. Finally, she whispered, almost a year. I laughed again. A year. A whole goddamn year. I shook my head, pacing. You had a full-time affair, Rachel. That wasn't an accident. That wasn't a mistake. That was a choice. Over and over again. And you know what's funny? You never even seemed unhappy. She took a shaky breath. I didn't want to hurt you. I snapped my gaze back to her. You didn't want to hurt me? I repeated, slow and sharp, letting the words burn. Rachel, you weren't just cheating. You were coming home to me. Sleeping next to me. Smiling at me. Looking me in the eyes, saying you loved me while you were screwing another man in some goddamn hotel room. And now you want to stand in my house and tell me you didn't want to hurt me? Her face twisted. I still love you. I laughed so hard it actually hurt. No, you don't. Yes, I do. Her voice cracked. I do, Daniel. I got lost, okay? I didn't know what I wanted and you wanted everything. I cut her off. You wanted to keep our life, our family, our home, while also doing whatever the hell you wanted on the side. And now that you've lost it, now you suddenly care? She wiped at her face, shoulders trembling. I was going to end it. Were you? I scoffed. That's funny, Rachel, because you seemed real comfortable last night. You didn't look like a woman trying to end anything. You looked like a woman who thought she was untouchable. Her lip trembled. I thought we could fix this. I took a deep breath. Exhaled slowly. We can't. Her whole body seemed to collapse in on itself. Daniel, no. I held up a hand. You don't get to cry. You don't get to act like a victim. You did this. You. And now you get to live with it. She opened her mouth. Closed it. She knew. She knew. It was over. Her breath hitched. What now? I stepped past her, opened the front door. Now you leave? She stared at me. You're kicking me out? Rachel, you were already gone. Now you just don't have a house to come back to. Her lip trembled. Daniel, please get out. She hesitated. Just for a second. Then, finally, she stepped outside. I looked at her one last time. This woman. This stranger. Then I shut the door. I stood there, hand on the door, listening. Listening to Rachel's shallow breathing on the other side. Listening to the way she hesitated, like she still thought there was a way back in. She had never considered this outcome. She had never imagined a world where I wouldn't just take it. But now? Now she had nothing. I waited. I didn't move, didn't speak. Just waited. Then finally, her footsteps. Slow at first, then quicker. Then the sound of her car door slamming. The engine starting. And then she was gone. I exhaled. My grip on the doorknob loosened. And then, for the first time in a year, I felt peace. The next few days were strange. It was like learning how to exist again. How to wake up without checking my phone for Rachel's messages. How to go to bed without waiting for her to roll over and say goodnight. For years, I had built my life around her. And now? She wasn't part of it anymore. And you know what? It felt good. Rachel tried reaching out a few times. Different numbers. Emails. Even had her mother text me. I ignored all of them. By the time the divorce papers were served, the messages stopped. I guess she finally understood. One night, a few weeks later, I was sitting outside, a beer in my hand, just existing, when Mark called. Dude, you good? I thought about it for a second. Then I smiled. Yeah. Because for the first time in a long, long time, I actually was.